tell you something. I'm so glad God loves me.
Shalom and welcome to Passover Feast of Unleavened Bread, featuring the Honorable Yud-Hey Wav-Hey Beif Nun Sofit, Yud-Hey Wav-Hey.
Shalom Aleichem. By now, all of you are aware that I am suffering for your sake, the sake of our people, and the sake of all moral and righteous people all over the planet Earth, regardless of their race, creed, or color, knowing that I have come to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the so-called blacks of America, first. I'm on my job, and because I am on my divine mission, I'm being persecuted for your sake. I'm being crucified for your sake. And I am presently hanging on the cross for your sake. All of this I bear and I endure for your salvation. My joy is knowing the end from the beginning, and to know, realize, and understand beyond all shadow of a doubt that as we read the scriptures, the holy words of Yahweh from Genesis through Revelation, not in one instance has Yahweh ever failed at anything that he wanted done. Yahweh has never, ever lost a battle. And Yahweh has a perfect deliverance record. No matter how things may look, no matter how they may appear, no matter how hopeless an event may look, Yahweh always comes through. And that's the beauty of serving him, is to look at hopeless situations. In our mind, the carnal mind, the finite mind, it seems impossible. But Yahweh enjoys working that which seems impossible with man. I want all of you to be calm down, settle down. You're studying the Word, and all of you understand that the enemy is casting lots for my garments, and you have a definite understanding about that, and you know that I'm going to yield up the spirit, yield up the ghost, and all the other subsequent things that must happen, the great earthquake, etc. All of these things must come to pass, and they're going to be coming to pass in rapid order, in a quick succession of events. And all of you, remember, there's a story that you must keep in mind, and that is about the 5 foolish virgins and the 5 wise virgins. And all of this is taking place right now. It's about to take place. All who are foolish will make foolish moves, and all of the wise are truly my disciples. Obviously, the foolish virgins are not my disciples. They are hanging around, dressing in white, and they look like my disciples. But up to 50% of all of that group are subject to fly to the winds when the going gets tough. And that's really tough for them. But every one of you who are my disciples are classified as the 5 wise virgins. And just remember the comforting words, that the righteous are never forsaken. Neither will their children ever have to beg bread. You will never be out in the street with nowhere to go and nowhere to turn. It may look like it, but don't worry. I've come to prepare a safe haven for you and a little sanctuary. And don't worry about have I done it or am I doing it. It's all waiting in the wings. And we can trust and rely on Yahweh and know for a fact that Yahweh is a strong tower. And the righteous 5 wise virgins, all of you will be able to run to it and be safe. Proverbs 18:10. You can rest on it. Now that I have spoken those calming words to all of my sheep, this is not going to have any effect on the 5 foolish. All who are foolish are just going to make foolish decisions. So don't let any of you be panicked by those who are foolish. Let them run, because this race was never promised to the swift nor to the strong, but to every one of you who endure unto the end, because the end of one is the beginning of another. The end of government de facto is but the beginning of government de jure. And the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And it just doesn't look like it, but it is. The fact that I'm in prison proves it's at hand. Oh, yes. And I'm coming out of prison to move. I don't care what Satan says or does, or how powerful and mighty he looks. Goliath looked mighty powerful in the day of David, and that's the way it is. So don't worry, my little children. Be calm, be at peace, be still, and know that I am Yahweh. Ben Yahweh. Now I wish to speak to you briefly for a moment on something that's really on page 8 of the PR book. It speaks about the bond that we contracted to Yahweh, the agreement, the covenant that we made with Yahweh, that we would reflect his nature. And the scriptures teach us, even in Matthew 5:48, that we should be perfect just as Yahweh is perfect. Yahweh has a perfect nature. My nature is perfect. And you have a right to a perfect nature. That's what you should look forward to and seek to manifest in your life, is to manifest Yahweh's nature that is within us. Also, the scripture teaches us a part of his characteristic, a part of his nature being, his characteristic being he is great in power. Yahweh is great in power, and you find that in Nahum chapter 1, verse 3, for you who wish to study this in greater detail. However, what that means is that since Yahweh is great in power, then it's your inheritance, it's your heritage to be great in power. It is expected of you to be great in power. And that means his very nature is great, so your nature is to be great. His characteristic is great, so your characteristics are to be great. And I must tell you that this is a poor time to look out into the world and think what you see going on in the world is going to continue. All of you who think that the enemy schools are going to continue to produce enemies to Yahweh, you're mistaken. You're mistaken to think that you can go out and find a future through their educational institutions, because they're educating everybody to be an opponent to Yahweh. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself in opposition to the will of Yahweh by giving your life over to thinking there's a future through their schools. When Yahweh University is in your face, it tells you that the principles taught in Yahweh University cannot be abandoned. Those principles that I teach through Yahweh University must be inculcated. Because remember the name. It is the University of Yahweh. It starts off, Yahweh University. So here is a university where you are to be studying all about the universality of Yahweh himself. And there can be no greater subject. There can be no greater challenge. And I pray that none of you lose your focus into thinking that you're going to have a future in this world. Yahweh University ends all the other universities. That's the end of all the others. Just because it continues for a while, you had best remember Matthew, the book of Matthew, chapter 24, 36 and 37, which tells you about, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the day of the coming of the Son of Man. They knew not until the flood came and swept them all away that all Noah had taught was true. And I'm here in person, in the flesh. And I know for the foolish, it looks like, well, that's the end of Yahweh ben Yahweh. The devil has Yahweh ben Yahweh in their hands, in their clutches, in their power. He'll never overcome this. He'll never. And see, those who mock me say things like, let us see him get himself out of this. Let's see if he can pull himself down off the cross. Let's see if he can save himself. Oh, glory. But if you just look at the story that they say was of Christ from then to now, you can see that hundreds of millions of people are following a false concept. How much more are they going to follow me as the true and living Son and the first begotten of the dead? There's no way that I can say it. I am success. And I am successful. And I'm here to teach you how to be. I'm not worried about where I am. Only my body is confined here for a very short time, a temporary period of time. I'm not trying to convince the foolish. This is not for the unbeliever. This is not for the disbeliever. All that I am saying is for the wise. This is for the believer, for those who have faith in Yahweh and hope, and who are going to do the works of Yahweh while it is day. Now is the time to do the works of Yahweh. John chapter 9, verse 4. This is the day. This is the time. This is not the time to put off working for Yahweh. This is not the time where you take vacations and take a month or two off and go relax. When there's a battle on, there's a war on. We're at war with Satan. This is the time where we're doing battle against the wicked in high places. And I know that they're listening to this conversation. That's tough. It's too bad. As you can tell, I'm undaunted by whatever they say or do. I'm telling you what has to be done in order to be saved. Now's the time to put on your breastplate, your armor of righteousness. Go out and fight in the name of Yahweh. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. It's the time. This is the day. This is the time when the tough roll up their sleeves and go to work, go to war. See, you don't need a gun for this. I've taught you that for years. This is a spiritual battle. And to lose yourself in the cares of this world, thinking you have a future with him, it means that you are going to be lost with the devil, Satan, the beast, the dragon, the serpent, the beast. All of these terms, Lucifer, all of these terms which represent the opponent to the mindset of Yahweh. It may look like he's the winner, but Pharaoh looked like he was the winner too before he drowned. He certainly looked like he was going to win, no question about that, because Israel we didn't have any weapons to fight Pharaoh with. All we had was Yahweh. And guess what? You know the story. Yahweh came through. So, here I want to remind you of your inheritance and your character and your heritage. Your heritage is to be great, just as Yahweh is great. So you are to be prodigious. And it's your nature to be unlimited. Because Yahweh is unlimited. There's no limitation on Yahweh. You must keep your feet on the ground, study, and let your mind leave the mortal and become immortal. Leave the carnal and become the spiritual. You must give up darkness and let your light shine in your mind. And understand it's your nature to be unlimited. That's a word you need to study. We know that limit has a confine. It has a boundary. But unlimited means just what it says. There are no limits. Your future is unlimited. Even your present is unlimited. I've already set the example for you. The $100 million empire that I established for you, that I gave to you, the buildings are not the issue. It's the issue with Satan. The enemies to Yahweh think that when they take our buildings, that they have taken me, they have taken you, they have destroyed me, they have destroyed you. But my kingdom is not of this world. For if my kingdom had been of this world, then my disciples would fight a physical war with Satan and would not let him prevail. But this is a spiritual war. This is a divine war, a mental war, a spiritual war. This is something that you have to understand. It's a mindset. You're going to have to give up the mindset of this world and take on a new mindset. That means be born again and become unlimited. Study what unlimited is. When you go to the enemy of Yahweh's college, you don't learn how to be limited. You learn some limitation. You learn how to be limited. They limit you into some particular subject. Your mind does not become unlimited in any subject that you learn at a particular college or university of the enemy of Yahweh. You become departmentalized. You become isolated. You receive vain thoughts and vain ideas. You learn imperfection and how to become a master of all that is imperfect. Only the laws of Yahweh are imperfect. The laws of man are not perfect, they're imperfect. That's why we're here. All the laws of man are being ignored. Their constitution is being ignored. Their amendments are being ignored. The due process under the 6th Amendment is ignored. The 8th Amendment is ignored. The 1st, the 5th, and the 14th Amendments are being ignored. Everything that man has put forth as a law that men should respect as the rule of law in America, I'm revealing the sons of perdition as being a lawbreaker, an outlaw, and a criminal. And I'm in a criminal injustice system. There's no justice here except not about to get any justice because I'm not a criminal. This system is designed to give just what they call justice to criminals. That means give them all the breaks. Give them every latitude. All criminals get by.
Please turn to side 2.
And they are working day and night to destroy all of your rights and to put all righteous people in concentration camps. And if you don't hurry up and stand and fight for what is right, then you're going to find yourself in a concentration camp instead of wherever you think you want to be or whatever you think you're doing. You'll end up losing your jobs and everything else unless you stand with me. If you don't stand for Yahweh, you're going to lose your home, your job. You're going to be swept away, just as it was in the days of Noah. I'm just here to warn you. My suffering is to call your attention to what can happen to you and to all the righteous, good, and moral people of this earth. This is what Satan has in mind for every good man and woman on this planet. And if you don't band together and stand up for good, righteousness, and morality, and stand for me and fight in my behalf and make sure that I am set free, if I put myself in this condition to see if you will fight for me. And if you don't fight to set me free, start off all excited. Go off and get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 names in a day or 2 or 3. And then you cool off. That's what your enemy expects you to do. That's why they're holding me and not letting me out. It's so that you will cool off and do what Negroes usually do. Colored people usually do. They get comfortable and satisfied with their lifestyle and wax cold, get busy doing their normal things. But at first you're very excited. You see, if you don't stay excited for Yahweh, you're going to lose your inheritance. You're going to lose your heritage. You're going to cease to be unlimited and be limited. You will never get out of this one unless you stand up now. This is Judgment Day. Praise Yahweh. This is it. It's not going to be one day. This is Judgment Day. You have to understand they put many movies out. Omen and The Final Conflict. They've even had Star Wars. This is all about good fighting against evil and evil fighting against good. Good is only here to establish good. Evil fights against good. See, good doesn't have to fight against evil. Good just has to come together and do good. And that just automatically will overcome evil. That's Genesis 11:6. That's what that's about. When the good people, the righteous people, the moral people, the people of Yahweh, the nation of Yahweh, when all so-called good people of the earth come and stand with Yahweh ben Yahweh and submit to the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Yahweh. Just submit yourself to the kingdom of God, Yahweh. Then you automatically overcome all the ills of this world. There is nothing going on evil in this world that can continue when you do that, because Satan, the devil, can only rule a divided house. Only when you are divided one against the other can he rule. Mark chapter 3, verse 25. He can't rule when we're united together. All good people, it's time for you to stand and stay busy. You're fighting not for my life, believe me. I'm well qualified to handle my own. I've handled it throughout eternity. You didn't protect me before I picked up this body 55 years ago. You're not responsible for my being here these 55 years. And before I picked up this body, you're not responsible for any of that. I saw to that myself, coming down through the seed of Abraham to this day. When I walked in the garden with Adam, I took care of myself. You can't save me at all. This is your battle to save your own life and the lives of your children. Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 14 will give you a clue to that. You write that down and study it. You can only save your own soul. And I'm coming here to save your soul. I'm suffering to save your soul. So you better run. You better hurry and work while it's day. You got time now. Time doesn't mean a long time. Time is short. If I don't cut time short, no flesh is going to be saved. No flesh on the earth will be saved. Matthew 24:22. Matthew 24:22 lets you know no flesh on the planet will be saved unless I cut time short. How can I cut time short if you're willing to quit working for your own salvation? Why should I cut time short if you're not willing to bring forth works? Don't tell me you have faith. Don't tell me you have faith in Yahweh, because faith without works is dead and counts for nothing and it's less than nothing. I'm not fussing at you. I'm telling you like it is, and I'm very forceful about it. You can't run a job on me. You can't run a mind game on me and tell me you have faith in Yahweh and Yahweh's going to do it. All of you who says Yahweh, put Yahweh ben Yahweh in and Yahweh going to get Yahweh ben Yahweh out, all of you who believe that, you're going straight to hell. You will never live eternally. See, Yahweh told Noah it was going to rain and told Noah to warn the people it was going to rain. Okay? Then Yahweh gave Noah a job to do. Build an ark. Yahweh gave him instructions. Say, now you do the work. Yahweh is smart enough, wise enough, intelligent enough to give the plans to build the ark. Sure, Yahweh could have built the ark. Yahweh created the heavens and the earth without man. But then as soon as he did it, he gave man a job. He said, now your job is to dress and to keep the garden, the earth. The garden was the whole planet, the whole entire planet. It wasn't just some little location in North Africa somewhere. The whole planet Earth was at one time the garden. The Garden of Eden was the whole earth. Don't you understand? The whole earth is mine, and the fullness thereof, and all the people in it, all of it is mine. Psalms 24:1 tells you that. I'm not limited to some little geographical square, North Africa. Since that's my inheritance, then all of you who believe in me, receive my name, and believe in my name, and receive Yahweh and my message, then you are co-heirs with me. You are joint heirs with me. So as my joint heir, then you inherit the whole earth. I'm looking for those who are ready to be the boss of the planet. I thank Yahweh. I thank Yahweh for every man that wants a tire changing business. That's great. That's just wonderful. All the little tire changes, I think that's great. But see, I must have men who want to produce the tires for the planet Earth. I must have the men and the women who want to be distributors of those tires to the entire planet. These are the 144,000 who are the chiefs of industry. I'm looking for those who are ready to be chiefs, the 144,000, the captains of industry, the boss of industry, the employers of. You see, when Moses talked to Israel, he talked to the chiefs, the elders of Israel. And it was the responsibility of the chiefs, the elders of Israel, to provide jobs for the tribe, for the whole tribe, for each one in his tribe. He was the employer, provide jobs for everybody. I'm looking for people who are ready to provide jobs, not for job seekers. Job seekers are all over the planet. I'm looking for those who are ready to be great, who dare to be great. Oh, it's how wonderful this is. Who are ready to have their mind expanded to an unlimited manner. That's who I'm looking for. And the rest of you who are foolish, run on out there and look for your future with Satan. Because he's on his way out. Absolutely. Isaiah 28:15, read it. Those of you who make an agreement with the devil, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. So I hope you enjoyed my little brief message tonight. As you can tell, I'm excited. I'm always excited about Yahweh. I'm always excited about his unlimited expression of power as made manifest in the creation of all things, including himself. I read where the Son of Yahweh created everything. I am the Son of Yahweh. I am. Colossians chapter 1, verse 16 says, the Son of Yahweh created everything. And my name is Yahweh ben Yahweh. That means I created you. And I have also created the nation of Yahweh. That's never been heard of in all 6,000 years of history. There's no recording of the nation of Yahweh. That makes me original, unique. That makes me a founder, an originator. That's who I am. And that's my nature. That's my nature. That makes me the father of all of you. The fact that I am resurrecting you. The fact that I am the resurrection. The fact that I'm the first begotten of the dead. The fact that I resurrected myself. The fact that I am self-resurrected means I know how to do it, and I'm doing it. Don't misjudge me. There's more with me than with my enemies. There's more with us than are with them. Don't get fooled away from Yahweh. Don't let the cares of the world grab you. It's my duty to warn you. I'm not trying to stop you. Flee, run. That's okay with me. I don't have a problem. I'm going to build the kingdom with those who love Yahweh with their all. You're the ones I will build the kingdom of heaven with. Life you will have after the death of your carnal mindset. Life after the death of your mortal mind. You must take on the immortal mind, which is unlimited in its perspective. You must do it. You must do it. And that's the light of the world. That's who I am. I am the light that lighteth every man that cometh into the world. I love you, and I speak out of a concern for you. I'm suffering for you. I'm being crucified for you. You, who are you? You who receive my message. You who implicate my message. You who stand up and fight in the name of Yahweh. Who are you? You who have faith with works. Who are you? You who take on the unlimited mindset and seek to be perfect as Yahweh commands you to be, as I command you to be. I want for you what I want for myself, and I have all things, so I want all things for you. That's what I want for you and your children forever. Know that. I love you forever. Share my love with the world, with one another. And by this shall all men know that you are my disciples, when you share love one to another. John 13:34. That's your blessing. I love you so much. I'm so happy for all of you that have come. Everybody you meet should have this tape also. This is meant for the righteous. And the righteous hear my voice. Remember this. Those who are not my sheep won't hear what I say. But my sheep know my voice. And I am known of my sheep. So play it to the world, and those that belong to me will be coming. Don't forget, and I'll remind you once again, to pay Yahweh and yourself first. Take care of your spiritual duties, and then take care of your earthly family, and then whatever is left for your enemy, spread it according to the way Yahweh has taught you to spread it. Live this principle. You must live this principle. And you know how I have taught you about this. So you who don't know, praise Yahweh. You who do, follow those instructions. You're blessed, you're enriched, and you're present. I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. You are my wonderful babies, and I'm so proud of every one of you that are walking in the name of Yahweh. Shalom Aleichem.
This concludes Part 7 of Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread.
I'm so glad God loved me. How do I know? 'Cause he told me so. He woke me up early when I was suffering. Said, son, you won't suffer no more. So glad Yahweh loved me. He took my blind eyes and gave me sight. And when I was running around doing everything wrong, he took all my wrong and made it right. Yeah, let it rock. You see, now I'm living in a peaceful and a tranquil mind. You see, he did things for me that nobody else ever could do. You see, God got that power. He did it for me. He can do it for you. Well, Yahweh is all right. The mighty God is all right. God, Yahweh is all right. He's all right with me. Well, let me tell you, I'm so glad God loved me. How do I know the way he makes me feel? And nobody that's ever been around that can make me feel so real. So glad Yahweh loves me. How do I know? 'Cause I heard him say, he said, son, if you want to go to heaven, and I can truly show you the way. Well, you see, I like that part where he says you believe in God, believe in me. Yeah, I can make you see that it's good when you can be. Join up with me, for Yahweh is all right. The mighty God is all right. God, Yahweh is all right. He's all right with me. Well, all right. Yahweh is all right. The mighty God pause and flow.